Welcome, everyone. We are live on this beautiful Monday. I know, sweet boy, I know. I see Steph and Claire. You know, Neville Goddard says feeling is the secret, yes? He says feeling is the secret. But yet, if you watch yourselves, you'll notice we force them. Oh, how do we force our feelings? He says when you are in a state, the feeling naturally follows. So, for instance, let me use the one that's most popular then: anxiety, depression. If I say to you, think of the thing that gives you the greatest worry, automatically, as soon as you think of that thing that gives you the greatest worry, how does your body feel? Not so good. It feels jittery. You want to pace. You just, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. You see that feeling? Feeling is the secret. The thing that you feel is what moves you to act. So then, if I say to you, well, you got to catch the mood, get the feeling of the thing by asking yourself, what would it be like if? What would it be like if you had what it is you were looking for and your wish were fulfilled? What would that be like? Then all of a sudden you can't feel anything, can you? Well, why? Of course you're feeling something. Of course you're feeling something, but now you are trying to force yourself to feel something, when in actuality, you don't have to force yourself to feel a single thing. Because as soon as something comes to your mind, you feel. Your body just responds. Cause, effect. Oh, well, good morning to you, glorious darling. I'm not gonna call your name yet, but I see you. It's good to see you. You see, so what we're doing, I want you to feel it right now. If I say to you, I just want you to relax. Something happens to you, and then I say relax. Some of you may begin to relax. Others will say, I got too much going on. You just forced something. The moment you override what happens naturally, you are forcing yourself. Let me put it to you another way. Think about, because remember, it starts with thoughts, right? Think about your favorite snack. Right away, your body responds. Right away, your body responds. See, it just happens naturally. But now, for those of you who said my favorite snack, that goes right to my hips. I feel so guilty when I eat it. Force. You're forcing yourself. You're not allowing what happens naturally to happen. Remember our friends, mirror neurons. If you observe the smile and just observe it, then naturally the endorphins will be released by your body. But if you look at that smile and go, oh, this heifer is always happy, now you are forcing yourself to not release endorphins. You're not letting it just happen. You see, we don't have to force our feelings. We don't have to fake our feelings. If you allow them to just happen and you be honest with yourself, you'll see that you already feel, and you feel most deeply, don't you? If I tell you to think of your favorite movie, well, something's going to come to mind, and automatically you'll feel a particular way. What I'm showing you here is There is no delay when you feel. The delay, or should I say, the suspension, happens when you try and force what should be happening naturally to stop because it makes you feel a particular way. For instance, guilt. If you feel guilty about something, your body responds right away. Let me give you an example again with how feelings happen naturally. Fight or flight happens naturally. There is no delay. Fight or flight happens naturally. There is no delay. But the minute I say to you, I want you to think of your favorite thing and just feel it. You're like, but I don't know how to do that. You're thinking too much. It just, it happens naturally. There's the thought, the feeling happens naturally, right there and then. As soon as you, and here's the thing, if I say to you, that kitchen sink is full of dishes, ooh, that laundry needs to be put away, ooh, what happens? Some of you may feel guilty. Oh my God, it's such a mess. See? Right away, the guilt is attached. All day, every day, you get a thought, and the feeling happens right there and then. It's one motion. Thought and feeling are there because now that's where the action emerges from. So long as that thought moves you mentally, you will act. So if you get triggered, you see what happens right there? As soon as somebody says something and it triggers you, you act out. You see how it happened naturally? Now, here's what we do. When you think of that thing, what would it be like if your wish were fulfilled? What would it be like if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be? Just let those feelings happen naturally when you ask that question. Just let it happen naturally. That's the question I'm asking you to answer rhetorically. It's an internal question for you to answer. What would it be like if you had your ideal career? What would it be like if you got up and your day was just smooth, no real major things, just nice and easy? What would that feel like to you? Did you allow yourself to answer that question and feel it? Or did you answer the question and then judge it? Oh, that's impossible. Well, yeah, I've been trying this. This doesn't work. I've been doing it for too long. It never works. I can't seem to get it to work. Now, do you will grasp and understand that feelings happen naturally, but it is us who override those feelings based upon what that thought. You've attached that thought to something. You've attached it to either abandonment, you've attached it to neglect, you've attached it to something. So when Neville says to you, what would it be like if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be in the world? Don't attach it to anything. Just let it happen just let that feeling come out of you naturally. Not whether you think it is possible. Don't do that because now you're attaching it. So now you've tainted the feeling, and the feeling can only happen now based upon how you've tainted the thought. If I say to you, look, when you get to work, Henry Cavill is going to be at your workplace. If I say that to you, first thing that comes to mind is, this heifer is crazy. What do you mean? I don't even know who Henry Cavill is. Superman. If I say that to you and you respond with, she's crazy, but that's never going to happen. How? There's no way. He doesn't even know that my particular job exists. You see, you've attached it to what? Doubt. And so the body responds to the doubt. But if you responded with Henry Cavill, I don't know who he is, but you know what? I'm open to meeting this person. She talks about him often enough. What, he must be pretty cool. Well, sure, I'll get my pen and pad ready for his autograph. See, now the body feels, oh, this is interesting. This could happen. There's a level of excitement. And it just happened naturally. It just happens naturally. Now, I'm not going to call your name, but I'll respond to you. Oh, Lord. Child, it's not singing time. It's not singing time. Just breathe it out, baby. You're good. You're good. You're good. For instance, if you ask yourself this question, what would it be like if I didn't have to do a menial job just to make ends meet? What would it be like if I was doing what I loved doing, and you know what? I just ended up with a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit? What would that be like for me? How would that truly make me feel? Don't attach desperation to it. I really hate working. I'm tired of working. You've attached something to it. But what if you just lay there or sit there and go, so I'm going to get to do what I love doing? I don't even know what that is yet, but I don't care. I just love doing it. And I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. Allow the body to feel how it's going to feel, simply based upon the possibility that the thing has unfolded for you. That's why I keep telling you, you don't have to pretend when you ask that question. You don't have to fake anything when you ask that question, and allow yourself to answer it honestly. Because the feeling that accompanies that answer will tell you exactly if that thing is possible or impossible. If you say, I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, you've attached doubt to it. So now the body responds to doubt. The body is not responding to the possibility of the fulfillment. Let me see if I can give you another example whereby it makes sense. If I say to you, think of the person you love the most. Somebody comes to mind. But now when that person comes to mind, did you just condition it with something? Did you just say, well, I love them, but they don't know that I exist. I love them, but they'll never change. Did you color it with something? Or did you simply allow the thought of the person you love the most to just simply course through your body? Try it again. Think of the person you love the most. What just happened to your body? Think about what just happened to your body. Did your body feel relaxed and at ease? Because you just had that sigh of, yeah, they're so tasty, they're so cute. Or did you feel tension? Did you feel anxious? Did you feel worried? Now you know exactly how the thing you want has been fulfilled. That feeling that you just got that was right there, that's the feeling that has been fulfilled. That is the way you will act. So feeling is the secret. Feeling happens naturally. You don't have to force your feelings to occur. If you allow it to just occur, you will know the outcome. You'll know the outcome. As soon as you feel what you feel, you'll know the outcome. If you feel the anxiety, if you feel the worry, well, that's what you'll get, the anxiety and the worry. Because now you will act according to how anxious you feel. But if you get a feeling of calm and ease and you got peace of mind, you're like, yeah, all things are possible. And you just go about your business. You see that feeling of surety of yourself? Well, then you already know how it will turn out. Only one way. The thing you are sure of happens. And how do you know what you're sure of? The way your body just responded to it. That's how you know what you're sure of. The way your body responds. It just happened naturally. But you see, we try and force it because we want to condition it with whether we think it is right to want what we want, whether we think it is wrong to want what we want, or whether we think it is good for us. We color it with something instead of just answering the question. I didn't ask you your opinion of the thought. I simply asked you, what would it feel like if you had what it is you wanted? And the moment that you answer the question, the feeling is right there. And the feeling that you get right there will tell you it is done or no, it's not. Because it's the way, it's the truthfulness. Now, let us practice, shall we? If you're driving, come back to this. You're 17 minutes in, come back to it if you're driving. But if you're available and in a safe place, what would it be like if you had whatever that thing is you wanted? What would it feel like? Do you feel it? What does it feel like to your body? Does it feel like, well, I don't know if that's possible. I don't know how I'm going to do that. That's such a big thing. Right there is your answer with whether or not you will encounter that thing. What is it that you know to be true? Nah, that's not possible. That's too hard. Too many working components to make that just happen by thought. What do you mean I don't need to lift a finger to make it happen? Now you know if you'll see it and encounter it or not, just by how that made you feel when you answered the question. But if you answered that question and you said, oh, yes, that feels amazing to me. There's no doubt, there's no worry, there's no fretting, there's just an acceptance. Then you have just felt your way into its fulfillment. Do it again. Clear your mind. Just clear your mind. Scratch the question. Question's gone. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. One more time. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Now, what would it be like? What would it feel like If you were the person you wanted to be in the world, wealthy, successful, Buddha, what would that feel like to you? Just allow yourself to feel it. Now, how did it make you feel? Was there an acceptance or was there resistance? If you just let that thought course through you and whatever came up right there and right then was natural, you've accepted however that thing makes you feel. But if you answered that question and you said, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. I've been trying. Now you've just identified your state based upon how you feel. And whatever state you are in, however it makes you feel, is how you will act. So if that thing you thought about gave you any anxiety, any worry, any fretting, you are in a state of anxiety. So what can you expect to reap from a state of anxiety? Hmm. Okay, then. You feel me. So go back now. Again, what would it be like if you had it? What would it be like if you had it? What is that feeling? You see, remember when Neville said then he was getting into the mood, when he was catching the mood? That's the lecture. He wanted to get off the island and he would walk up the gangplank in his imagination. What would it be like to walk up that gangplank? And he said he doesn't remember how many times he did it. What do you think he was doing? He was allowing himself, what would it feel like to walk up the gangplank? So if he had doubt on the first one, he went right back to the beginning. What would it be like? So he did it over and over and over until all the doubt was gone from his mind of walking up that gangplank. All he could do naturally then was walk up the gangplank. And as soon as he caught the feeling of walking up the gangplank without accompaniment of any nonsense, of any justification, but what if I don't get the ticket? What if I'm stranded here? Every single time that thing came up, what if I'm stranded there? He would go back. What would it be like if I walked up the gangplank? Over and over and over again until it did what? It takes on the tones of reality, which means what? You just felt the same way you thought. So now you have to act it out. Let me take a moment as you ponder that to welcome everybody so I can read this comment so you will understand what I'm saying to you, because she hit it right on the head. Who's in Twitter this morning? Claire, darling. Hello, Claire. See, staff, I see you. It is always just so beautiful to connect with you guys every day. I love you. It's good to see you all. Yes, indeed, it is, my darlings, indeed. Who's here on Facebook and YouTube? Andrea, darling. Sonia, Shea Butter. Now, here's the comment. I'm coming, fan base. Hold on. She said, this may sound crazy, but to me, it feels like the feeling I get climbing into my comfortable bed to take a nap. That feeling. Neville Goddard says the feeling most keenly felt by humanity is relief. If you had the thing that you wanted, if you were the man or the woman you wanted, you would be relieved. You would be like, coming home to your new house every day would be a relief. Getting into your new car every day would be a relief. It's just old hat to you. You're just doing it every day because why? Because when you come home after a long day, are you not relieved? You get in your car to go home or to go to the grocery store to do something. Are you not relieved that you have the ability to take yourself from point A to B? If you come home, you put the key in the door, and that little puppy comes running, or the kitty comes running, or the chicken, depending on what you've got. Are you not relieved to be at home to see them? If that boo calls you or texts you, are you not relieved? You see, we keep thinking it has to be this far-fetched feeling. So if I say to you, you are now the winner of whatever Powerball you've got in your city, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Please. What are the odds? You could be struck by lightning twice before you win the lottery. Now you know if you'll win the lottery or not. But if you say, oh, dear God, all my worries would be gone. And I would feel like, oh, I could take a load off. Now you know. Because it would be natural to be relieved. It would be natural to get up and not live in a state of anxiety. It would be a relief. It would be a relief to not get up and live in a state of depression. So you see, the feeling happens naturally when you think of that thing. I'm coming. Who's on fan base this morning? I got a little sidetracked. Well, here we are, fan base. Who's on fan base? Incipio. Bam. Nobody's mammy. Hey. Zisti. Uh, HTX Brando. How you doing? Joyce. Hello. Substance. Welcome. Stephanie. Joaquin. KZ. B Swan. Ali is here. Oracle Treehouse. Mgenie Marquez. Ah, hello, Emanon, darling. It is good to see you. So you see, when you sit there and you have a thought, especially if it's one you've been having, on repeat, there's a feeling. And here is what happens to us. You have that thought that you've been having incessantly. Habitually, you taught yourself to respond. Somebody did a post on Reddit the other day, and he equated his life to the Pavlovian experiment. Pavlov rings the bell. He puts the steak in front of the dog. He rings the bell. So the dog sees the steak. He salivates, right? So Pavlov got the dog to do something. He got the dog to salivate just by hearing the bell. So he put the steak there to begin with, and the dog would salivate. You know how this experiment works. He put the stimulus there, and the dog responded to such a that he by the time he was done, he didn't have to have the stimulus. He just had to remind the dog with the ringing of the bell of the stimulus. Habit. We've conditioned ourselves to respond in a certain way. We've conditioned ourselves to feel a certain way. because of a stimulus. So if you grew up and your coping mechanism was anger, or your coping mechanism was fear, take away the stimulus. If you take away the stimulus, you've conditioned yourself. Just now, when you hear the bell of whatever that thing is, you respond. And that's the feeling you've conditioned yourself to feel, as opposed to letting the feeling just happen naturally, unconditioned. If my son says to me, Mom, can you make some brownies? I said, Yes, honey, I gotta go and get the ingredients. He wants brownies, the family friendly version, because those are the only ones I make. So I gotta go make brownies. But if I look at those brownies and I say, Oh my God, look at all the calories. They need egg. I feel so guilty because if I want the brownies, I want ice cream to go with it too. Oh my God, my diet is shot. You see that guilt? You have conditioned yourself. Food. You feel guilty when you eat. So that now, anytime food comes into the equation, guilt just shows up all of its own volition because you have conditioned yourself to feel guilty instead of, oh, look, brownies. They're tasty. That's what we've done. We've conditioned ourselves to feel a particular way. And because we've conditioned ourselves to feel a particular way, that is now our nature to feel it that way. Instead of hunger, eat, thirst, water, natural. I say to you, calm and relaxation. You're like, bitch, please. Look at what's going on in the world. You've conditioned yourself to worry instead of being at ease, which is actually natural. So here is how it works. You think of something, you feel right in that instant, you feel in your body something about that thing. And the way you feel, this is not singing time. And the way you feel is how you're going to act. So then people say, well, what action should I take? The action comes naturally if you let it. But because you say, well, I don't know what to do, you are now coming from a place of conditioned fear and worry. Well, I don't know what to do. What if I do the wrong thing? Well, I don't have any money. How can I make it work? You've conditioned yourself based upon the state, which is that predominant thought that you are thinking. So now you feel it in your body. And the way that you feel in your body is going to win. Because it's what you know to be true. Because you've conditioned yourself to know it to be true. So if I say to you, look, man, you can be an entrepreneur. You can have your ideal job. What's the first thing that comes to mind for you? No, I can't. I don't even know where to begin. I've never even made a business plan. Look at all of the excuses. And you see how the body feels? Tense, worried. You've conditioned yourself from a place of fear. Your state is fear. Do you see what I'm showing you here? Thought, feeling, action. So if you want to feel something different, you've got to get a different thought. But you cannot condition the thought. You can't look at that thought and go, well, I don't know. That's not possible. Don't condition it. That's why psychiatrists can show you those little images, those little blob images, and tell you, say the first word that comes to mind. They're trying to get you to not condition something. So, how do you get into the state then? By asking yourself, What would it be like if I was the person I wanted to be? I don't know what kind of person you want to be, but you know. How would that feel to you? Don't answer the question based upon whether you think it is possible, because now you're conditioning it. Simply answer the question of, what would it be like? What would you do? Where would you go? What would it feel like when you got out of bed? Just like Andrea said, the feeling would be, when you want to take your nap and you just get in and you're like, that's nice. You see, you just let it happen. Just let it happen. Yeah, you just let it happen. Lord have mercy. Whew. Does this make sense to you today? Because it is, remember when Neville says it should take you 3 days to quote unquote manifest what you want? And he says it doesn't have anything to do with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It doesn't have anything to do with the days of the week. It has to do with, what's that feeling you get when you think of it? That's what he's saying. So, however long it takes for you to let go of the condition you have put upon the thing that you want, that's when you'll experience it. Because you can only experience the thing you feel. Wait, what? Yes. That's why Neville tells you the thing, a thought without motion, it doesn't come into fruition. That's why the thought has to move you to act. So when you're triggered, how do you act? Well, that depends on the trigger. But you see, the trigger moved you. So what we're doing here, just allow that thought to emerge and let the feeling show up. Just let it shows up naturally. Let it show up. How many of y'all just yawned? It just showed up. For some of you, you didn't fight it. You just yawned because, you know, it just happened. This is why when we go back to the law of cause and effect, every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. So the way you think about whatever that thing is, the way you feel about it is how you will experience, is what you will experience. So if you feel that confidence, you feel that knowing, whatever that knowing is, that knowing could be complete disbelief. Well, then you got to get the disbelief. You got to get the doubt. Why? So you can say, see, I told you. That's what you're doing. Let me pop into the chat here, fan base, and see what's going on. Yes, just Marquise, just allow Buddha to take the wheel. Yes, with God, all things are possible. Ah, nobody's mammy. Your dream life is not far fetched. It is conceived in the spirit realm first and then manifests itself here in the physical through your continually connecting to the state it exists in. Yes, beautiful. Yes. Marquise, he said it. You can only experience what you feel. So, what I'm saying to you this morning, how you will know what you are manifesting, how you feel. How you feeling? Hot, hot, hot. How you feeling? Huh? How do you feel? Now you will know what you experience. So now you see that you're manifesting all day, every day? Based on what? The thing you feel that moves you. So that's how you can take yourself from longing, hoping, and wishing. Yeah, you can take yourself from that because that is a state of longing. I want it, but I don't think it's possible, but I can't stop wanting it. But Neville says, don't want it. Ask yourself, how would it feel if you had it? Answer that question without a condition. Just how would it feel? I'm not asking you if you think it is possible, because all things are possible to God. I'm asking you, how would it feel to you? How would you get up in the morning? Like SpongeBob? I'm ready! Or would you just lay there and go, oh, God, another day? Well, then you can predict exactly what day you will have. Just simply based upon that feeling. See? And then we say, but I can't, what are you saying? I can't fight this feeling anymore. And see, we say that because then we get tired of what? Fighting. Who you fighting? You. You're fighting you because you're trying to force the thing to not happen naturally. You're putting a condition on it. And every time you put a condition on it, it does not remove the fact that you want it. You want what you want, but you try and justify why you want it. You try and justify. Do you want it or not? And how does it feel if you had it? So however long it takes you to go from, I don't know, man, that's not possible, to, oh wow, well, this is nice. I actually have it. Because why? The feeling tells you what you have. The feeling tells you what you have. That's what makes it possible right there. The feeling that you have it or the feeling that you don't. But if you get up every morning and you feel the same way, nothing changes in my world, Angela. It's still shit because the feeling is the same. So if the feeling is the same, the experiences must correspond. So how do you change the feeling? Just for the love of God, find a feeling that feels better. Just give yourself some relief. Not because when you give yourself the relief, you understand? Now you put yourself in a different state. And the state that you are in, that determines the experiences you're going to have. How do you know what state you're in? By the way you feel. So, let me hammer this home. So when you feel this thing, okay? How does it feel? If you say my day is shit, it never changes because you are having the same thought and your body feels exactly the same. But what if you could make your body feel relief? How do you make your body feel relief? Not by force, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit? Your thought. Your thought. So think of something that it's just going to make your body feel a little better. Feel relief. Okay. See if you can do it right now, right here, right now. Bring up a feeling of relief. Just do it. Good. If you don't have the feeling of relief, keep practicing. Because you're not trying to force the feeling, you're changing the thought that will bring the feeling. You see, when Neville says you don't have to figure out how to make it happen, you don't have to figure out how. The how is there. If you just get into the state of relief, get into the state of relief, which means to do what? Think of something that brings you relief. If you pet the dog and I'll give you my example. If I snuggle with a little bit or big bits to some of you, and I just look him in the eyes, I remember asking myself, how did I get this chicken? What was I possibly doing that brought this chicken into my world? I still can't answer the question yet, but I know that every time I get around him, even if he growls at me, and I pet him, and I look in his eyes, and he goes, oh, and he makes his little noises, an absolute feeling of relief comes over me. So all I have to do, like Pavlov, what do I want? I want relief. So I just think of my chicken and petting my chicken. Lord, have mercy. Don't go there. Stay with me. I pet the chicken and I feel better. But what if I'm not with the chicken? I can still think of the chicken and I will feel better in my body. So when Neville says to get into the state of the wish fulfilled, he's saying, catch the mood of the relief. It is done. Because when something is done, all you can say is, ah. You know what I'm talking about, for those of you who lean towards the naughty. When something is done, as Neville says, when you've reached the climax, what the hell else is there to do but to go, nothing. So get a feeling of relief. Why? Because you've got to disrupt your old habit of tension. So how many times can you go and get in the feeling of relief throughout the day? And how long can you hold it for? I like the 30 times 3 because who knows? 30 times a day, bring up a feeling of relief and hold it for 3 seconds or 30 seconds, however long you can hold it for. Because what are you doing? You're conditioning your body to respond in the way you want it to respond, which is natural for you. That's what the habit is. The thing that takes on the tones of reality is now your habit. Man, y'all got me so fired up, I have to take off my glasses. I saw the chat moving, so I have to look at it. You see? Marquise, you're on a timeout. Marquise says everyone should pet their chicken once in a while. Right? Because the feeling is the evidence of you having what that thing is. Okay, well, let me say it again. The feeling is the evidence. How else would you know? As within, so without. You got to feel it. You got to feel what you know is true. The thing that moves you is what you'll feel. So when you catch that feeling, now you can become a prophet and say, oh, look, well, that feeling means ... That's what I'll experience. But we try and force it, don't we? By putting a condition on it. You take that kid in the candy store. You think they're thinking about cavities? No, they're not. They're not even thinking about the dentist. Because if they did and they thought about the drill or they thought about the brush from the dentist, they wouldn't touch the candy. Shoot, you wouldn't even have to remind them to brush. But they don't condition it, do they? Be as children. They just know, oh, candy. How many can I fit in my pocket? How many can I fit in my mouth? Uh, that's all they know. And what do? They act according to that. And that's how you know. That's how you know. I trust today that that makes a little bit of sense. I trust that it makes a little bit of sense or a lot of sense. Because sorry, Marquise, you're on a timeout. Bad boy. But this is what I'm saying to you. We change our situations when we change our thoughts about the situations. I heard Dr. Joe Dispenza. Remember, this man's a doctor, like, cut people open kind of doctor. He said, if you are thinking along the same lines every single day, the body responds the same. Thereby, it has to show you what it's thinking by way of dis-ease or pain. But if you change the thoughts deliberately and bring about a new chemical composition in the body, because that's what's happening. Hello. Fight or flight is a chemical thing. When they tell you that, oh my God, depression is a chemical imbalance, it's not that it's a chemical imbalance, it's that the body has to show you the imbalance that you have inside your mind. So that's why you'll see an imbalance. And the only place to see the imbalance is within the regulators, hormones. And hormones influence what? Mood. So the more you think about a certain thing and feel about it, the body is going to respond. It always has to. Anyway, that's what I'll say for you guys today. The feeling is the secret. Because the feeling tells you what you can expect to experience. Because the feeling is the thing you know for sure. The feeling tells you it is real. The feeling tells you it is real. Like Neville, he gave the example with the woman with the roses. She wanted roses, and so she fully engaged her sense of smell and touch. She could smell the rose. You know, the sense of smell is your most powerful one because it's right to the brain, nose right at the brain, so you remember those ones very clearly. So that's why when you smell something, it'll take you right back to your childhood. What? Oh, guava jelly? Oh, shoot. For all the Bajans in the room, it'll take you right back. Tamarind balls? Oh, just the smell of those. But walk by a dunce tree. That doesn't make any sense to you non-Bajans. Dunce are a little fruit. And when they get really, really ripe, they have a most pungent smell. And if you're walking by it, you don't have to see the tree. You know you're in the vicinity of one because it smells. Yeah? So the sense of smell tells you this thing is real, or else you wouldn't be smelling it. So the feeling tells you that it is real. So that's why when Neville tells you the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he is telling you once you catch the feeling, you don't. That's why you don't have to fake it. You don't have to pretend. You just have to feel it. That, my beautiful friends. Oh, let me read the chat. Hold on, y'all. See? There you go. I trust that that makes a little bit of sense. My melanin. Hey, Mr. Cutsum, it's good to see you. I trust. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. No, child. It's not that time. I, yes, it is. Jesus. That's our time today, my beautiful friends. Let me play the bowl, and you can have your You can have your nature sounds, and get this. My neighbor's alarm went off, and then within 2 seconds, he crowed. Lord have mercy.
I'm screaming.
Listen to Andrea's question. So every feeling has a corresponding action? Andrea, yes, honey, yes. Lord have mercy, child. Whew. Okay, let me get the bowl. Uh, so here's your example for today. As you listen to the bowl and you hear my rooster, and anytime you're looking for a moment to pick yourself, if you want to pick yourself up from somewhere that is undesirable and put yourself in a different state, remember the rooster. And if you laugh, you've put yourself in a different state. So that's the state. Find that rooster and go back to that laughter however many times and hold it. However many, listen, the longer you laugh, the longer you're in the state. And the longer you're in the state, the, the more free you are. Now you begin to bring about relief and you will manifest different things that match that state. So feel whatever you need to feel this morning. Countdown initiated. Five, four, three, two, one. Twitter, have a good day, is what he said. Twitter, I see you. Much love to you all. Twitter is closed. Let me get our water. YouTube. Listen, YouTube, if you can see the chat on Fanbase. Fanbase, somebody says it's an oracle. He's an oracle chicken. Ah, he's an oracle chicken, allegedly. That's what somebody says. So, uh, YouTube and Facebook, I love you guys. I'll see you tonight. I am. You just gotta let him finish singing his song, because if I interrupt him, he gonna start over. And I got to record today. I've got to do some narrations today, so I need him to just finish his singing, so he don't sing later on. But YouTube and Facebook, I love you all. I trust that today made sense. So yes, Andrea, every feeling has a corresponding action. And based upon that feeling, you know exactly what action you will take. Oh, thank you, Andrea, darling. The better man. Hey, you late to the party, but I see you. All right, YouTube and Facebook. I'll see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. What lecture are we reading tonight? Um, we are reading The Power of Faith. That's the lecture we're reading tonight. 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much love, YouTube and Facebook.